Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Right, remember yesterday's video talked about a guy called Carl Gardner who wrote a letter saying how wonderful Alexander Boris Johnson has been good for the UK. Now, if you've not watched the video, I suggest you do. The title isn't what you think it is. It's a really, really good letter. And I doff my cap off. I doff my cap to the guy brilliantly. Well, apparently for the West Country Voice, he's quite a avid writer. And I get the feeling they're going to have a regular feature for Carl Gardner because he's apparently quite the prolific letter writer. And in this one, he sends a letter to his local MP. And as you will find out, well, if you've watched the video yesterday, he's not a fan. When it starts off with, "Dear Sheryl, it seems you plan to keep your loyalty to a liar, cheat, and general criminal who broke the law that he himself set and then refused to do what you could bet your bottom dollar he would ask any other PM to do, which is to resign." And yes, he would have been. He'd have been first one shouting for if Jeremy Corbyn had won in 2019. If he'd have done this, he'd have been demanding his resignation. You know he would. I am, of course, referring to the right dishonourable Alexander Boris Johnson. Supporting him is your own incredibly misguided choice, I guess. It's a free country, after all, at least until the police and crime bill imposes fascism by banning protests. Something it seems you also support, judging by your voting record. I personally take the fairly well-known Channel 4 TV show Gogglebox as a bit of a bellwether for public opinion. For the last few years I have wanted to turn off when they have supported the unsupportable, but you may want to sit back with a glass of taxpayer-subsidised bubbly and watch it in the Commons bar in the next few days. The public really don't like what he has done, and his lies aren't cutting through this time. But to the job at hand, however, I have just one simple question for you today. Given that Russia is due to invade Ukraine, and Alexander Boris Johnson is playing a pound-shop version of the late, great Winston Churchill, my question is as follows. Do you now think it is time that Alexander Boris Johnson handed back the dirty Russian money that he accepted to play tennis with an oligarch's wife and force other ministers to hand back the money that they took from Russian sources too? A simple yes or no answer will suffice. Carl Gardner. And again, as it says, hi again, so you will be amazed to know that I have sent another letter to the delightful amoeba impersonator, the immaculable Miss Murrey. It starts off, "Dear Sheryl, I must say that I am rather annoyed, as I need to now wash my sofa cover. You see, I am off work today, and my bit of light TV viewing was rudely interrupted by spitting my tea out, part in laughter and part in disbelief at the latest defence of Alexander Boris Johnson by the ever so insightful old character Anne Whitcomb." What a clown she is. It was comedy gold. You really should watch it. Miss Whitcomb claimed that now is not the time to remove a Prime Minister because of the situation in Ukraine and the fact that it would create a vacuum of power in government at the wrong time. Just a few observations about that from me. 1. Alexander Boris Johnson is already a moral vacuum who never appears to do any work other than self-promotion anyway. So how would you even notice his absence? He regularly disappears for weeks on end to go on nice little donor-funded jaunts and jollies or japes. On the face of it, things actually run more smoothly when he isn't there bumbling around like a music hall drunk. 2. Winston Churchill. You know him. He was an actual leader, not a part-time Mr. Bean tribute act, who dresses up for photo opportunities and on the face of it achieves very little else other than self-gratification, was only put into place following the removal of Neville Chamberlain at what was arguably a more pivotal time in history. No talk of power vacuums then, thank goodness. If Chamberlain had acted like Alexander Boris Johnson is acting now, desperately and futilely clinging to power and refusing to do the honourable thing and quit, I have no doubt the war would have had a very different outcome. 3. If war does break out, Alexander Boris Johnson has no real authority anymore since he broke the law and spat in the face of those of us who obeyed it to the letter. He can't even keep sensible COVID measures in place to save people's lives because he's so scared of the libertarian fringe of his own party. He is literally going to let people get COVID, suffer and die to save his own neck. Keep it classy, boss. Or should I say, keep it classy, bodger. Politicians clearly see his weakness and don't respect him. The media don't respect him, and the public won't listen to him when he tells us of any measures that we must take. Also, much more to the point, he has taken Russian money personally in the past to play tennis with an oligarch's wife. I very much doubt her husband didn't want a few favours in return for his kind donation. Those with links to Putin aren't renowned for generosity without a quid pro quo. So with all of his hollow talk of imposing sanctions and cleaning up the dirty Russian money in London, he will be laughed out of the Kremlin. And 4. A combination of Brexit terminally weakened us and our political power on the world stage, and the fact that pretty much the entire world sees our Prime Minister as a liability and a liar means that France and the USA are leading discussions with Russia. That the UK isn't taking the lead in this for possibly the very first time in our history shows just how low Alexander Boris Johnson has pulled this once great country down. And I've got to say, I can't disagree with anything he's wrote there. Absolutely fantastic. I think I might read a few more of this guy because I think it's pretty spot on. What do you guys think? Right, I shall leave the video here until the next time. I shall bid you farewell and take care.